Okay, so hi everyone. Today I wanted to hop on instead of making a post about the energies that we are experiencing right now. So we'll talk a little bit about the full moon, the lunar eclipse, and what this means for our planet. So before you're like, not watching this video because she's talking about the moon, I don't care. I really encourage you to just stay and try to be as open as possible to listen to the message that is coming in right now. And because it is depicted literally in our globe and what we're experiencing in the economy and around the world. So we have a full moon in Sag. This is a fire sign. These individuals are very vibrant, very outgoing. They like change. They like adventure. They are truth seeking, which is what kind of drives them to be like this wanderer or creative adventure in their life, is they want to understand the deeper meaning of life and what it means. They want to understand the truth. Sag also has a relationship with Chiron, which is deemed like the wounded healer or the wounded hero, and has a lot to do with its teachings around music, health, healing, and prophecy, which is kind of interesting. This Sag full moon is in a lunar eclipse. So it amplifies the energy of everything. So as a full moon, we already see a lot of emotions coming to the surface. If you have highly sensitive children, they might act out around this time, not really knowing what's going on. If you are an ER nurse, chances are you have a lot of like crazier cases come in right now, just because the energy is amplified, which is why there's that like stereotypical werewolf howling at the moon, or the crazies come out at the full moon. It's not really that they're crazy. It's just that the energy is amplified right now to serve a greater purpose. So everything's coming up to the surface for us to examine, like, okay, like what's really not serving us anymore. So as the full moon cycles, we as individuals go through our own cycle. So we're constantly in a cycle of death, rebirth, healing constantly, whether you're aware of it or not. So this is in a lunar eclipse, which means everything is amplified right now, and it's designed this way so we can go inward to be like, okay, this is what the last 6 months looked like. How do I want the next 6 months to look like? Where do I need to create change in my life? This is an internal journey and not an external journey, but the internal always reflects the external. So as within, so without, as above, so below. So we really need to take note and take inventory of like what's not serving us right now. We also have 4 planets in a retrograde, which is Venus, which is all about like love, money, emotions, relationships. Jupiter, which is around luck, money. We have one in Saturn, which is about like discipline, tough lessons. Saturn also governs the root chakra, which is pretty interesting. And then we have one in Pluto, which is about revolutionary change and moving things forward for the greater good. This all squares Mars, which is the planet of like war, masculine energy. It can be very like violent, anger, aggression. So that's one of the things that we could be seeing with the full moon. People might be a little bit more impulsive. People might be more apt to react to things. There might be more anger, aggression, that sort of thing, which we are kind of seeing around the world as things are escalating and as protests are going on. There is some more anger and aggression, not to say that it's not indicative of the situation or warranted. It just is a thing that's happening right now. So as I dove into the message and was kind of communing with spirit, I really came to understand that it's 2020, and we've probably spent the last 20,000 years working on our root chakra, and we have yet to master it. So your root chakra is your very first chakra in the 7 chakra system, which comes from Eastern medicine. This is like a 4,000-year-old system that kind of denotes these like energy systems within our body. So they're like these spirals, and each of them have a lesson. So in Hindu, they believed that as you climbed the chakra system, it was a way to enlightenment. So the root chakra has to do with almost like Maslow's hierarchy. This is our very basic needs. This is like injustice. This talks about the tribal, being a tribe, the tribal situation, belonging, justice, having your basic needs being met. So feeling like you have the right to be here, you have the right to survive, has a lot to do with like fear, survival. So like having enough water, having shelter, having food, the basic necessities, or being able to fend for your life in the very basic way. And until we learn how to master this, we can't really climb up to the other chakras. Although health kind of works a little bit different because there's a lot of things that interplay. But just to kind of give you the Coles notes, very basic here, we are in a giant reset of a root chakra. And what exactly does that mean? It means we've not mastered this lesson. And the symptoms of it, so health symptoms, from my understanding of health, symptoms are actually byproducts of a root cause of a greater thing. So symptoms look like diseases or actual symptoms, fever, headache, nausea, etc. It's a byproduct of what's happening on a deeper energetic level within the body. All mental, emotional, spiritual things manifest to the physical. So what's happening on a global level, on a social economical level right now, is a byproduct. It's a very big, very serious byproduct of a much greater issue. And we're definitely not going to be able to like unpack it all at once. So it's good for us to like look at these microcosm events and issues to be able to master them as a whole. So then we can look at the bigger picture. If we looked at the bigger picture, it'd be way, way too much. So the root chakra, the alignment and everything that's happening with the stars, with the retrogrades, with the eclipses, is basically pushing everything to the surface. So it's like this massive tower moment that we're experiencing in all avenues of our life across the board. So we see it in our economy, we see it in our justice system, we see it in our healthcare, because we have all of these systems in place, but they're not coming from its truest form. They're not coming from a truth center. They're not coming from a love center or a heart-based center. They're not serving the whole. They're not serving our entire tribe. So therefore, their foundation is not stable. And the root chakra is all about creating a sturdy foundation that benefits the whole, where everyone feels safe and everyone feels loved and everyone feels like they have the basic human right to be here and to have their basic rights being met. And that's what we are working towards. Because of this, though, or because of all the retrogrades that we're in, it's not really a time for creating a lot of action around it. It's a time for creating conversation, because this is a big thing, and this is going to require a lot of humans, to everyone really, to change and address things on a much deeper level. So everything that we're seeing in the news right now actually stems from our health and how we are and how we're dealing with trauma, because this is not just a trauma. This is not trauma from this life. Like, this is ancestral trauma. This is past life trauma, if you want to ascribe to past lives. So this is a very big, pivotal point in our history, and it has been a very big pivotal point in our history for the past 6 months. And I feel like we're going to continue to see that. So as our root chakra decides to, or as we collectively, every single person works on their root chakra, I feel like we'll be able to move forward and create more peace and lightness and equality for every single person on this planet. The one thing I like about shamanic medicine, and specifically Hawaiian shamanism, is it talks about the dream and how, or this is kind of like in the movie in Inception, how everything's a dream and we're constantly co-creating this reality. So there was this Hawaiian shaman, he was a doctor, Dr. Han Liu, and he worked at a mental health institute for the criminally insane. And he used Ho'oponopono, which is a beautiful Hawaiian prayer. I give it to a lot of my clients to use. And he worked with all of the criminally insane clients. And basically, at the end of him doing this work with them, all of them were discharged, and most of them didn't have offenses after. So they actually had to close that wing of the hospital. And what he did was he never saw any of these clients. He just had their file folders, and he sat at his desk and he looked at their file folder and he said, okay, this person is presenting with this. And he worked on healing that avenue within himself that would have created that outward appearance of that individual acting out. So, but this is a very deep but profound thing, is our world is a reflection of what's going on internally. Internally bases our fears, our belief systems, even if it's deeply ingrained within us because it's coming from past lives or it's coming from ancestral knowledge, and we might not even have a clue that it exists. It could be something that is affecting the whole, which is why when we talk about change and we talk about healing and we talk about our planet, it's not like one person goes out and cultivates change. It's an inward job. It's all of us going in and healing the trauma within us and finding more love and more space within ourselves to change and rebirth or recreate the future that we want to see. A future of equality, a future of peace, a future of love, a future of better healthcare systems or better technology, or I don't know, flying spaceships, something, anything, I don't know, whatever you guys want. But that's kind of this beautiful message, is he went within himself and he healed within himself what was maybe triggering these individuals, and from him doing that work, they shut down the medical wing. It's in this book. If y'all don't believe me, it's a really good book. Talks about Ho'oponopono and how it can change your life and help you manifest and whatnot. But most of the books about manifestation and abundance and love in the New Age community, I don't really ascribe to being New Age, or the spiritual community, is all about you going inward and doing the work, doing the healing work. A lot of the time we have this dissociation with health and the world, and we think oh, poverty can't be in relation to health. But it is, and it's like a web that we need to work to understand, so we can work to heal, so we can work to create a new web. And a lot of people believe the social injustices that we're experiencing right now with the Black Lives Matter community couldn't possibly have to do with health, but it does. This is deeply entrenched karma. And you might not think that you have a racist bone in your body, and that might be true, but it doesn't matter. You still have to do the work. You are a part of the tribe. And if half the tribe does the work and the other half the tribe doesn't do the work, then we're no more ahead than we were the day before. Every single person needs to be coming together to stand up and do the work and do the healing and look within themselves to ask, where can I shed more love today? Where can I show up and judge less? Which I find is a whole other bag of worms as I've been sitting back and like just observing everyone right now, is we're so on the defense. And there's a lot of people who are very fearful. They want to speak out. They want to have a dialogue. They want to show support, but they're so scared of saying the wrong thing, or they're so afraid of hashtagging something and being slandered for it. We need to stop. Like, that needs to stop, because it's not getting us any further ahead. You don't fight fire with fire. You don't fight hate with hate. You fight hate with love. And we all need to have a lot more love and compassion for every single person on this planet. I don't care if you're black, blue, I've got 5 heads. It doesn't matter. We need to embody love. We need to be love. We need to heal. We need to show our brothers, our sisters, our community support. I don't care if they live on the other side of the world. I don't care what gender or sex or religion. It doesn't matter. We are a lot more alike than we are different. And the moment you understand that and see that, that's going to start shifting some things. And the one thing, just one more thing before I go, one of my girlfriends did this ancestry DNA test, and it was kind of cool because it showed all of her background, but it was like 5 or 6 different countries that her DNA came from. And I was like, wow, like how cool is that? There's all of these cultures that you get to be a part of and you can dive into, and you maybe not relate to, but you could relate to it if you're open to it. But it also made up who you are as an individual. So when we look at that, when we look at how much Corona has affected everyone, how much interconnected we are, we start to fight for the greater cause, and we start to fight for each other, and we put down our differences, or we respect our differences. I was listening to like Trevor Noah, super fantastic human, and he was talking about a guy on a plane who ran into him and was like, hey, you're this guy, your stuff's pretty funny, but like I don't necessarily agree with your politics, or where you're coming from, your viewpoint, but I respect you. And that's what we need to start to see. Like, you don't necessarily have to agree with someone, but we need to start respecting people. We need to start loving people. We need to start fighting for people. We need to start finding our voice. And some of that literally comes from our own health and our own healing and our ability to love. Because if we don't have that, if our actions and our intentions are not out of a place of love and compassion, then it's going to be out of a place of discomfort, dis-ease, fear, emotion, anger, things that are going to be more destructive in nature. So that is my my full moon talk today. I'm a huge nerd and a huge buff when it comes to this kind of stuff, because I really love symbolism. But some of the stuff that happens in the planets or in the moon and the alignment, it's very much rippled out into our society. And I'm not saying you guys have to go out and buy like an astrology book and learn everything. And if you're not into it, like, it's cool. I respect that. But it's another way for us to understand the bigger picture, and where we're going, or maybe some things that we just need to like look at or analyze, or help us on our own journeys to discover like what's not serving us anymore, so we can create change in our life that's coming from like a heart-centered, aligned place. So I hope y'all have a really great full moon. If you're looking for some tips and tricks or some action steps, I would suggest journaling. I really love journaling. The act of speaking and writing something is almost like an act of releasing, as long as it's coming from like, you're not harping or nagging about something, you're coming from a place of understanding. I'm trying to understand what's within me that's causing these blockages in my life so I can transform. So I would suggest writing out, if you want to dial into some of the Venus energy, writing out some of stuff around money, belief systems, relationships. Are they serving you? Where are things toxic? Where are things out of balance? Where do you not have healthy boundaries in your life? Where are you not speaking up your truth? Where are you withholding love? Where are there imbalances in your heart where you're not able to like open up? These are some of the things to look at to be able to clear that, so you can stand more in a space of love and compassion for your partner, your family, your community, your friends, the world, which is what we need right now. If you want to look at finances, you can exact same thing, like try to go in, like put on your little like detective hat, and try to go in to say like, hey, where, what is it that I want? Where are there blockages? Where I keep coming up? Where do I keep repeating the exact same lessons in my life? Where do I want to see change happen in my life? Where do I want to see change happening in the world? Again, the world is a reflection of our internal state. I know, mind blown. And it might be a hard concept for people to like wrap their head around, but it is a thing. So where do you want to see change in the world? Or where do you want to see change in yourself? And can you like mirror the two? So if you want to see certain change in the world, then you need to implement that change within yourself. So it eventually is an outward rippling out effect, and it's going to change the world. Again, like these aren't really new concepts. These are very old concepts that well-known civil rights leaders have been discussing for a really long time. If you want to change the world, you need to start with yourself. It needs to be singular impact on a collective scale for us to move and shift change forward. And the time is now. And if we don't, we're just going to keep seeing all of these massive tower moments happen in our life, because all of these systems have to crumble down around us for us to finally understand, oh man, we need to build sturdier foundations. We need to rebuild things. We need to relook at things. This really isn't serving everyone as a giant community, as a giant tribe. Everyone needs to feel like they have the right to be here and they have the right to belong. So write things out. You can burn it. I like burning things because one, it's kind of fun and it's a way of like releasing things. Fire is very transmutable. And it's a way of being like, I am releasing this. Intention is everything. So if you have the intent to release something, then go for it with every single full moon. If you like doing these sorts of things, or even doing them on the daily basis, you might find like you have to release something again and again and again and again. And then finally, it's not going to be a trigger for you anymore. But the reason why you have to keep releasing it is because some things are deeper seated than others, and they're entwined with other emotions or belief systems. And if you don't work with a healer, you might not get to that root in order to release the whole thing. So you might need to keep writing, keep releasing, keep setting fire to paper and paper only. So try not to be super irritable today. If you need to take some time, rest, move your body, get in nature, and find some time to really sit and reflect on things that aren't serving you, or things that aren't serving your community, or where you want to see change, because it's stemming from all of us. And everyone really needs to start doing the work. We really need to start healing, not harping about this because I'm a healer and that's what I do. I'm harping about it because it's literally how we're going to make change. And everything that we're seeing right now in the media and in the world, and we have been seeing for a really long time, actually stems from our health. So I hope you guys have a great full moon, and I will talk to you all later. I welcome any sort of like comments, concerns. If you love this video, please reach out to me. Okay, bye for now.